Welcome to In Pursuit of Truth. This is your host, Sir Patrick Mack. We've got some new Q, and I'm going to read them. I'm going to read them good. Let's get to it. All right. June 11th at 11 minutes past the hour of 10 a.m., we've got a picture of Singapore. Looks like this. And then we got this picture. And then we got this picture. And that takes us down to here. Q says, start the clock. A week to remember. Remember in brackets. Think logically. First, private. And in brackets, we have class-5, 6 in parentheses. Second, public. Blackwater on guard. Evidence kills. These people are stupid. Q. 18 minutes past the hour of 10. An anonymous says, thank you for guarding POTUS, Eric. Q replies, not POTUS. Q. 53 minutes after the hour of 10, we have fly, RR in brackets, fly. Failure per White House instruction / agreement. D-class _ public, 3 in brackets. EO, dated _ official. ID redactions. Heavy in brackets, heavy plus, in brackets, remove in brackets. Hussein, White House, call, tarmac, Bill Clinton, Loretta Lynch. And then we've got these pound signs with looks like to be Rod Rosenstein in there. Lots of brackets in there. JC, number 2, LL, BP, PS, LP. And then we have ... 302s, text, tarmac, FBI, DOJ, operative insertions, UK, SIS in brackets, dark to light. Shall we play a game? You have a choice. Do what is right. FBI agents willing to testify, plus 24. Next, DOJ, offer open. We have 2 in brackets. Next, C, missing the IA, offer open, 3 in brackets. Good versus evil, Q. 9 minutes after the hour 11, we have this picture. 16 minutes after the hour 11, track all suicides. Example 1, think spade. Trace to Children Foundations, New York. Trace to import/export. Trace from China, Mexico to Long Beach. Trace sale / spinoff of company. Trace to CF. Trace to port, security clearance profile, L5. Who granted? Hussein / HRC. Expect a lot more, Q. 20 minutes after the hour of 11. Every single picture posted is original, pulled, wiped, or taken. Think about what that means. 22 minutes after the hour of 11. An anonymous says, not necessarily from our guys. And it looks like they're talking about the board, our guys. And Q is seeming to acknowledge that. 27 minutes after the hour of 11. False flag weather alert. Worldwide, stay vigilant and maintain situational awareness. Q. Okay, let's start you off at the first post. We've got this picture here labeled Sing Class PL1, Sing Class PL2, and then we've got Sing F2F Lock Top. We'll talk about that in just a second, but here are the pictures blown up. There's the first one, the second one, and the third one, and I'm sure you already know these are some pretty iconic images in some of these places. This is Singapore, and here we are looking at, this is the, what do they call that, grove, tree grove or something like that. Super Tree Grove, that's what it is, Super Tree Grove. Here's the googly map, okay, and you can see up in the top of your screen, there. This is the flower dome, and then in the top left corner here where I'm circling, sorry, that's as big as I can get my cursor, is the Marina Bay Sands, and I'll show you respectively in the pictures. Okay, there's the grove. There's actually 3 of these. This is the big one, and there's 2 ones in front of the dome. There you go. There are the 2 smaller ones. Okay, there's the flower dome. Looks like a big bra sitting on the side of the river. And as you can see in the shadow, you've got the shadow of the Marina Bay Sands, which is the most obvious place to take this picture. Now, if you were standing on the top of the sands and the sun went down, became nighttime, you walked over to the other side, that would be your view. This is the roof of the Marina Bay Sands, and I'm quite sure. Okay, look down there. This is the Marina Bay right there. Now, some people have stated online that if you look over at this building here, that it says Q. It does not. Just so you know, it does not. It is OUE limited, and I took you over to the website just to prove it. So don't get wrapped up in that. That wasn't part of the thing. Okay, it's OUE, not Q. All right, but we are in Singapore, and it's a big deal. Time to start the clock. Let me blow that up. All right. Now, these pictures were labeled class, I'm assuming classified or classification, P, whatever P might be. And then could be L2, just might be designations. Who knows? I'm not exactly sure. I don't love to get wrapped up in that stuff too much because I don't think it's important. But it sounds like they got maybe F2F is face-to-face, lock tops or whatever, maybe whatever's going to go down. Maybe this is where it's going to be facing. I'm not really sure. Don't want to get wrapped up too much in those details because it doesn't matter to us so much, but that could be what they're talking about. Not sure. You can let me know what you think. But Q is saying start the clock. And we're on the clock, and I think the clock now is for the deep state. The deep state's got to start making some really quick decisions because this meeting is going to go down any minute. As a matter of fact, you'll likely be watching this either right before it, or who knows, if something's going to happen in the morning, nighttime, we don't know. But it's going to be a week to remember. Q says think logically. First, private. Now, I think Q is talking about the original meeting was originally done back in November. And if we even go back, we don't even have to go that far back. Some of Q's most recent posts, remember Q did a proof pic of the sky, and we had assumed at the time that could have been in Korea, and that was back in November when we thought the deal might have originally been done. So who knows what's been worked on since then. And then Q says second public, and I'm assuming that's the meeting we're going to see tomorrow. Now, as far as this classification 5 and 6, I'm going to bring this up in a future post here coming up, but I have a feeling that we've got 5 classified, possibly maybe a possible 6 thing that could be coming to light. We'll see. But Blackwater is on guard, and of course, most of us kind of equate Blackwater with Eric Prince. Eric Prince, of course, is not really the CEO of Blackwater anymore, but could very well be involved, and this might involve, I'm assuming Blackwater is not likely guarding the president, but I would not be surprised if Blackwater was guarding Kim Jong-un. Could be guarding Julian Assange. Could be guarding Edward Snowden. Could be guarding Buddy. I don't know. But I have a feeling it could be Kim Jong-un. This would be a good time for the deep state to make a counter. And I have a feeling that this has been building up for a while. Now, Q says evidence kills, and I want to talk about that real quick too, but in a future post. These people are stupid. So the clock is on for the deep state. What's the deep state going to do? But we're in Singapore and we're counting it down. The next post at 10:18, an anonymous says, thank you for guarding POTUS, Eric, and Q says not POTUS. So we know that Q is not guarding, that Eric is not guarding POTUS, but I would likely, Q is not denying that Eric is involved. So it could very well be that Blackwater right now is standing by and protecting Kim Jong-un, which is something that Kim Jong-un really wanted and needed in order to make this whole thing happen. Now, before we go on to the next Q post, I want to turn you on to this article here. This is from June 11th off of Sputnik News. Kim Jong-un invites Trump to Pyongyang for second round of summit reports. Sorry if you guys can hear that noise behind me. Somebody's drilling and it's driving me crazy. There's nothing I can do about it. All right. According to the South Korean media outlet, ahead of a historic summit in Singapore, North Korean leader has invited U.S. President Donald Trump to Pyongyang for the second round of summit in July. The invitation to Pyongyang contained in the letter, which was handed by Kim Jong-un's top aide Kim Yong-chol to the U.S. President Trump on June 1st, the Chosun Ilbo newspaper reported, citing its sources privy to the matter. In turn, North Korean state media reported on Monday that the upcoming U.S.-North Korean talks would focus on the establishment of the new relations between the countries, the creation of a firm peace system, and the denuclearization of the Korean peninsula. So this seems really telling to me if that evidently was what was in the big letter that we got from Kim Yong-chol when he came over to visit. Remember, he handed them a letter, and it kind of looked like an owl when he held it out for the picture, and of course we were all speculating about that as well too. So who knows, but it looks like this was an invitation to Pyongyang, or at least according to this article. But either way, what this suggests to me, and I think it makes clear sense, is that this is obviously not a done deal, And although the mainstream media is kind of reporting it to be this really, really tense event, it seems to me that although President Trump looks very, very focused and he's playing it very close to the chest, it's almost like we're watching him evolve during this whole process, which I find personally really incredible to follow President Trump, just from, being the you're fired guy, to being the president that we know now. It's really become quite an evolution to behold. But this has been moving on for a while now, these talks with, and of course we had the news that Singapore was going to be going to Korea as well too. So this is all unprecedented, and it's fantastic. It's fantastic for Asia. It's fantastic for the rest of the world, and it's fantastic for exposing the deep state, which is more importantly, I think, where we're going with this. And we already know that this was all done back, that a lot of this was kind of put in motion back in November. So we're moving along. And it should be very exciting to see what happens. I guess for me it's tomorrow, but for you this morning. So let's move on. Now the next post here, we have this fly, RR fly, and I've been kind of toying with this a little bit. And I don't really. The last time I saw fly, I saw the fly, Eagles fly, which I was assuming was a reference to the Rothschild, and who knows, maybe the Rothschilds are in the air trying to prepare something. But this seems to me like we were talking about Rod Rowe. Okay, Rod Rowe being Rosenstein. Failure per White House instruction. Yeah, he was supposed to release all this stuff. He was supposed to declassify this stuff. The agreement was that he was the one that provides it all. And now we've got this declass public 3. And I'm going to get to the numbers in just a second here. But what I'm assuming here is that we're looking at a few different things that are going to be declassified. Now this EO, I'm assuming was the EO that demands that we see all this stuff. And the IG redactions, we already know that so many, we can probably assume now that this IG report is going to be coming heavily redacted, and that's unacceptable. And we have all these brackets: heavy, remove, call, tarmac, BCLL. So is that what's being redacted on the IG report? Is that being redacted heavily? Because this was all regarding this tarmac call. Remember, Loretta Lynch, Aunt Loretta. What was she talking about to Bill on the tarmac? They were just sitting there on the tarmac. And there's got to be a recording of it. All those planes are fitted with an audio device. You can't take it out. So whatever these redactions were, must have been, maybe they're anticipating that they're going to be heavily redacted in coming, and maybe that's what's being threatened to be exposed. Maybe that's we're on the clock. Maybe that's why we're offering the deep state sort of an ultimatum. Are you following what I'm saying here? I think you are. Okay. So what would be implicated in all that? Well, could it be James Comey, Andrew McCabe, number 2, Andrew McCabe, Loretta Lynch, Bill Priestap, Peter Strzok, Lisa Page, and then we got these ellipses here. And don't forget, a lot of people skip over these ellipses. Remember, ellipses, I think, is referring to evidence. Remember, how do you legally, let's see if it'll draw it up here. There's where we first saw it. How do you legally, and remember, this was talking about injecting evidence, okay? And I think that Q has used these ellipses quite a bit. And I think that is what Q is responding to, talking about evidence. And it looks to me now like we've got evidence on all of this. And so despite the heavy redactions, despite them removing the call from the tarmac, we've got it all. And remember, the call, did it involve a promise of Aunt Loretta becoming a Supreme Court justice? Was that the deal that they made with Obama? Is that why the situation only became a matter? Remember, it wasn't a crime anymore. It was a matter. It was just a matter. And that all got downgraded right after the tarmac meeting, and Hillary was allowed to go free, and nobody was checking into those emails anymore. Well, it looks like it could be bad news for JC, number 2, LL, BP, PS, and LP, because they've got evidence. What would that evidence be? I would assume it's going to be those 302s, the statements, okay? The text, all those texts, doesn't matter if you redacted them. We've got them anyway. Doesn't matter if you didn't talk about the tarmac, because there is a recorder in that plane, and we've got the tarmac. And it implicates the FBI and the DOJ and their operative insertions and how it was related to not just their version of the Five Eyes, if you will, but the UK The Senior Intelligence Service is a special intelligence service, MI6 essentially, and all that darkness is going to be brought to light. Shall we play a game? Shall we play a game? Has a couple references. Has a references to Julian Assange. Remember the first time that started, Julian Assange responded. How about a nice game of chess? And of course, that's from the movie War Games. And that was where Matthew Broderick was playing whatever. He was playing with some computer and he got all wrapped up and he was going to all of a sudden blow everybody up. And then all of a sudden the computer was like, why don't we just play some chess, dude? All right. So looks like we're talking some big deals here. I'm assuming this is all the evidence. And that's the implications right there. Now, this last part, and I'm guessing why we see these lines right here. It looks like Q is talking to them. You have a choice. Do what is right. FBI agents willing to testify. Plus 24. Well, there's even more than that. Hundreds of FBI agents say they're ready to expose Obama and Comey. And this is from your Newswire back in May 25th. And I'll just read you a little bit of this here. According to sources within the Bureau, FBI agents are desperate to tell Congress about how heavily politicized the FBI has become and how senior personnel at the agency attempted to prevent Trump from becoming president. Daily Caller reports the subpoenas are desired by the FBI agents because it requires Congress to pay for their legal fees and protects them from agency retribution. And of course, that's important when you're going up against the deep state. We've seen that in all these suicides that's been going on. Many agents in the FBI want Congress to subpoena them so they can reveal problems caused by former FBI Director James Comey and, of course, the number 2 Deputy Director Andrew McCabe. 3 people in direct contact with active field agents, they tell the DC. Okay, so is that the 3 that we're seeing in this kill box right here? And they've got a choice to do what's right. So now we have next, DOJ offer open. Next, CIA offer open. And we have a 2 and a 3. And I'm wondering if that is in relation to this first post here. Classified 5, maybe a possible 6. So could there be some deals open? That's why we've started the clock. And this is really the deep state clock. They're the ones that are paying attention to the clock now because they're under the pressure. Does that make sense? I hope so. It's all about good and evil, folks. And it looks like we've got some offers open to a few more willing players. What are they going to do before this summit? Are they going to back something off? Are they going to make sure? Are we going to see all this unredacted? Or are we going to just have to bring it out? Because either way, we've got all the evidence. All right, we'll move on. So this next picture here is 9 minutes after the hour of 11. I've got it blown up right. Sorry, this one. And now we're kind of further back. Now I want to show you back to the Googly map here. As you can see in the background of this picture is the Marina Bay Sands. So wherever this is being taken is from the other end of the peninsula, and this is what I'm talking about here. If I back out, you can see where I'm slowly hovering is the Marina Bay. Now, my map never updates because this is still all under construction, but there's clearly a neighborhood here now and da-da-da-da, but wherever it's been taken from, it was taken from here looking that way, okay, across from the peninsula. So let's go back to that picture. The only thing I noticed about the picture, other than just having eyes on Singapore, and Q's going to talk about the pictures in an upcoming post here, I noticed a little triangle of dots here. I don't think it means anything. I think they're just little spots, but little triangle of dots. But we're looking past the Singtel building here. Nothing particular that I noticed about Singtel. I remember their CEO got busted for cheating on his wife, and they had a little scam going on in their early days, but I don't know that they're necessarily related. I think this just has to do with the fact that they've got eyes on Singapore. And I've got friends in Singapore right now. Singapore's on lockdown. So I think that says a lot about people who are able to get some of these pictures going on. Because if you're at the top of the Marina Bay Sands right now, I just have a hard time believing that you'd be able to get these pictures. It looks like the town's on lockdown. Nobody's in that park. It's the middle of the day. Beautiful day. Nobody's in that park. That town looks like they're on lockdown right now. So if you're in Singapore, let us know. Incidentally, this picture is entitled Spec X. And who knows if it is. My first theory, of course, is that these pictures usually come from Q or the Q team. But if not, these could have been stolen pictures, maybe from people who were inspecting the joint, maybe trying to infiltrate the joint before the summit. Who knows? But we are in Korea and we are ready to light it off. All right. Now, 16 minutes after the hour of 11, Q says to track all suicides. Well, ain't nobody got time for that. We're getting ready for our popcorn. Let's just take one. Example one, think Spade. Now it'd be Kate Spade. And of course, the other one was Anthony Bourdain. And the Anthony Bourdain one, I'm just going to talk about real quick because I know a lot of channels have already kind of covered it in great detail. But this was a tweet from Asia Argento, his girlfriend. Anthony gave all of himself in everything that he did. His brilliant, fearless spirit touched and inspired so many, and his generosity knew no bounds. He was my love, my rock, my protector. I am beyond devastated. My thoughts are with his family. I would ask that you respect their privacy and mine. Just 3 hours before Bourdain was found dead, Argento shared a photo on her Instagram story that showed her wearing a shirt that said, F everyone. You know who you are, she captioned the post, according to People. She has since deleted the Instagram story. Okay, well, sad story indeed. Talented guy. And, this girl was very, very outspoken against Harvey Weinstein, saying that he raped her. And Bourdain was no fan of Weinstein either. Bourdain has tweeted before that he's had run-ins with the Clintons. I'm not going to go way into that, but let me just show you a quick graphic thanks to Corey Lynn on Twitter. And this is from a collection, I think, of both of their Instagrams, Bourdain and the girlfriend. But, clearly creepy, weird stuff and esoteric stuff and everybody getting punched in the eye and that picture of holding this beating heart. I mean, I don't know if it's beating or not. So it looks disgusting. And of course, Hunter S. Thompson, and everybody knows that he's a clean character. So lots of pedophilia symbols and just weird stuff. So this is kind of weird. And Bourdain was wrapped up in this. I don't know how deep, but he was definitely not a fan of Weinstein. So was he trying to get out in front of the narrative and maybe finding out that wasn't going to happen? All of a sudden it becomes suicide weekend. Or was he offed by somebody, as Weinstein was known to do? He did have Mossad agents working for him at time to time. So who knows? It's all really, really creepy. And I don't like to go way into that. But let's talk about the Kate Spade thing, because this thing's weird too. Kate Spade husband Andy pictured in bizarre mouse mask just days after tragic fashion designer took her own life. And I'm not going to read through this because this is the Sun. I just don't look at what's going on here. All right. But the guy does say somewhere in this article here about, have you no respect for privacy or whatnot. Look, I don't know if maybe I'm not like this guy, but I would assume that if my wife died, I can't imagine putting on that clown ass costume and walking out with that. It's from The Rescuers, and The Rescuers, wasn't that movie about child abduction? Wasn't there a girl named Penny or whatever that they had to go after? Why are you wearing a plastic mask? And that's not a comfortable mask. Anybody who has ever trick-or-treated in the 80s knows that is caustic right there. That's a face full of sweat is what that is. He's got his coffee, he's got his Avengers mask, and his cute little yellow backpack, and there he goes traipsing off looking for privacy. Right. Good luck with that. So this story just gets creepier by the minute. Of course, this is brother David Spade. And I think David Spade's got another brother somewhere else as well. I want to say a construction project in Arizona or something like that, which is also definitely an interesting route we could take. But I'm going too far. Let's talk about the foundation. Kate Spade also had the New York Center for Children. And here are some of their sponsors and whatnot. And of course, everything's going down in New York, isn't it? Kate was killed in New York. Nexium's all in New York. Everything's in New York. Let's go back to the Q post. So, think Spade, trace to Children's Foundation. We just did, all right? We got the Children's Foundation. New York Center for Children. That might be the one. I don't know. Trace to import, export. Well, this took a little bit. And thanks to some Anons, but what I think what we might be talking about is not so much the foundation. I think we might be talking about this company right here, the Kate Spade and Company. Now, she ended up selling this a while back to, I think, Neiman Marcus for millions. And but this is off of their brochure as a PDF, and I'll leave it down below. Kate Spade and Company samples standard operating procedure, courier and hand carry. And if you check this out here, these are one of the brokers is Livingston International off of Sunrise Highway. They're also in Valley Stream, New York. And here's their homepage. And these people are into shipping. And if you watch my video from a couple videos ago, I think I wanted to just post it yesterday, was talking about shipping. Now, I didn't go into this company, but the shipping is very, very interesting. Now, these people do all these global solutions, enterprise services built around your needs, and they can do all needs. So maybe you wanted to ship some handbags or something like that, like Kate Spade. You could do that with this Livingston, and it looks like that's exactly what happened. Now, this is from Kate Spade, and it looks like we have some shipments around February here. some handbags, 100 cowhide leather handbags, bunch of bags, walk-on air collar. I don't know what that is, but these were going from China to Long Beach. And of course, that would make sense, wouldn't it? China, Mexico, Long Beach. Now, this I'm not quite sure of yet in the relation to the Clinton Foundation exactly. But we have this Trace Sale spin-off of company. And like I said, Kate Spade sold off to Neiman Marcus. And this is Neiman Marcus. Now, Neiman Marcus does have this, incidentally, the Community Foundation of Texas. Neiman Marcus wanted to give its employees a way to participate in disaster response and recovery efforts through the company's annual charitable giving campaign. Okay, so they got themselves a humanitarian organization. Now, I don't know if that has anything to do with the Clinton Foundation, but let me take you back even further. This is off of Fast Company. Clinton Global Initiative. Western Union announces NGO Global Pay. And I'm not going to read you the whole article here. I want to just get you the crux of the matter here. On Wednesday, Western Union will announce its newest CGI commitment named NGO Global Pay. This new Western Union initiative is being created to help NGOs manage and deliver funds into the field safely and securely. Funds will be moved through bank accounts, mobile phones, and prepaid cards to send funds to field staff and beneficiaries using more than 100 currencies. This transparent approach will eliminate the risks associated with funds passing through a variety of hands. NGO Global Pay will be particularly useful during times of natural disasters and crises. How about that? Now, keep in mind, this was back in 2012, okay? But this is an interesting connection with this NGO Global Pay. And look at one of the partners here. Happens to be this David Livingston International. And Livingston International, of course, is the receiver of said shipments from Kate Spade. So, I don't know. Could that be our Clinton Foundation? Not really sure exactly if that's true. There could be some other connections that I'm missing here too. I'm not really sure. Now, as far as this goes, tracing to port security clearance profile L5. Now, L5, I would assume, means a clearancy that would be from the Department of Energy. So that would be one of the highest that you could kind of get. So whoever was in charge of all of this large-scale shipping must have been involved, I would assume, with the Department of Energy, clearly, or at least a very, very high clearance profile, L5. Now, Q is asking who granted it. It looks like Q's answering Hussein, Hillary, Rodham, Clinton. Now, I remember a big hubbub some years ago about Bill Clinton getting a lot of big companies deals off the Long Beach port. So Long Beach seems like that is a big hub for shipping these kids in and out. And like I mentioned before in my earlier video, I kind of showed a lot of connections to the other side of the United States. But it seems like this is our China, Mexico, Long Beach connection, which is basically just the same thing, a different part of the world. So this is absolutely huge. Lots of stuff going on. Now, incidentally, with the Department of Energy, they just came out with this new super computer. Look at that thing. God, dog. Oak Ridge's Natural Laboratory launches America's new top supercomputer for science. This is from June 8th. Today, the U.S. Department of Energy's Oak Ridge National Laboratory unveiled Summit as the world's most powerful and smartest scientific supercomputer. Secretary of Energy Rick Perry attended the debut to meet with the ORNL team and see firsthand this monumental supercomputer. With a peak performance of 200,000 trillion calculations per second, or 200 petaflops, Summit will be 8 times more powerful than America's current top-ranked system, Titan, which is also housed at ORNL. God, wow, it's 200,000. First of all, a trillion is a lot. 200,000 trillion, that's a whole bunch. And 200 petaflops, I never even heard of petaflops until just now. So, wow, how about that? Summit's computing capacity is so powerful that it has the ability to compute 30 years worth of data saved on a desktop computer in just 1 hour. My goodness, so that's the Department of Energy right there. Well, let's move on to the next post. Now, Q is saying every single picture posted is original, pulled, wiped, or taken. Think about what that means. Well, that means a lot, doesn't it? It means that all these pictures that we've been looking at, whether it's this one right here, or these right here, or everything going back, they're all original, meaning that either Q, someone on the Q team took them, they pulled them, wiped them, meaning that somebody thought they got wiped, or maybe they got stolen, or they've been taken. So this means this could be the Black Hats pictures as well too. And that gives a whole new spin on almost all of these pictures that we've seen through Q posts throughout time. And that could shed some new light on some new stories. But I think overall what we're seeing right now is what this anonymous says right here, not necessarily from our guys, and Q confirms there. Okay, let's move on to the next post. Finally, 27 minutes after the hour of 11, false flag weather alert worldwide. Stay vigilant and maintain situational awareness. Q. Okay, so I don't know exactly what this is going to mean, but this could imply so many things. And remember, Q has been talking about a sky event related to North Korea. And could tomorrow be our sky event? Now, there's some people who have gone so far to think that this could be otherworldly. Who knows? We're not going to know until we see it. But it looks like Q is warning us to look out for a weather look. Watch the water. Watch the rain. Who knows? Is it going to be a big, big storm? Is it going to be a haboob? Is it going to be a tsunami? Is it going to be a... Who knows? But Q is letting us know that it's a false flag and that it's going to be worldwide. So stay safe. Stay indoors, I would say, if you can. I myself am actually probably closer to Singapore than many of you on the Western Hemisphere. So I will definitely be staying inside and keeping my eye on what's going on. Those are your Q posts. Sorry, I would have loved to have gone more in depth with you, but I have all this construction going on in my house. As you probably heard, a lot of the drilling and banging and going on. Anyway, if you like this video, please click like, share, and subscribe. And as always, if something comes up, I will be right on top of it. I will be staying up most of the night because I want to be up for the morning news cycle for you so that we can all experience whatever we experience together. All right, this is Sir Patrick Mack, and until next time, stay focused, stay vigilant, and maintain situational awareness.